Well, I'd say we're all fairly deafened and exhausted by now. It's the end of the show. We've had Billy and the Sunbury Aztecs on, and they're joining us straight off stage. How are you all? Okay. How was the show for you tonight? You've got an awful lot of Band-Aids on there, Rats. You coping, or is it a bit much?
Ran out of toilet paper in the dunny, so I don't...
Oh, terrible.
Burnt his finger.
One of the great things also was reading your books, Bill, when you really encapsulate all those amazing times, and it's one of the first times that an Australian rock icon has actually done that. What made you write those stories?
Money.
Come on.
It was actually as a result of a 60 Minutes interview, and they had it so wrong in terms of what had gone down, what had happened, that it really started me thinking. And I also had a throat operation. I had 30 stitches in my throat, and I couldn't talk for 3 months.
That would have been fantastic.
Nearly killed me.
How come I wasn't around when that happened?
I was just thinking the same thing, Rats.
And I started writing, and a lot of stuff started to come out, and I realised it was the characters, I mean, there were so many great characters around in those days. There's a few of them, people like Scrooge, the roadie, who's on the show, and Chucky, of course, because Chucky roadied for us for a while.
Yeah, really.
It was just fun. There was just so much laughter.
Do you think, Paul, Sunbury was a really defining era in Australian music? The whole festival philosophy really changed Australian music?
Sunbury was a summation of everything that had gone before, because it was such a vibrant scene in Melbourne, and there were so many good bands, and the people were so involved in it. It was close to Melbourne. It wasn't a hippie festival, it was a rock festival. It was a summary to me.
Do you look out in the audience now at night and think, gee, they were actually the same people that were there?
Some of them definitely, they look like me, so they probably were they were there. Yeah.
What I find funny is looking at all these people who on the street look fairly straight, knowing that they were all ripped on acid and speed and smoking dope and drinking booze and yelling and screaming.
The difference was back in those days we used to say, show us your tits. Now we say, show us your tooth.
Also,
but that's all that's changed.
What was different is that after Sunbury, all those large speakers which were provided to play to 30,000 people outdoors were taken into small clubs in Melbourne and
defining
set up,
the sound that
and
was
that
Billy Thorpe and the
changed
Aztecs.
music in Australia quite dramatically.
We always pushed
Absolutely.
it.
We went from two-column PAs to large teethers to the ceiling and right through the stage. That's all you could was the PAs that were hired on the spot. And they've remained here till today indoors. You're listening to outdoor equipment.
What's it been like for you, Bill? I mean, it was your dream, it was your idea in the first place. It was over a year ago that you actually went to Michael with the whole concept of this. What's it been like for you?
Tomorrow it ends, and I don't know how. I think we're all just going to have to move into a house together for the rest of our lives,
That sounds like
nobody ever could have imagined what this became. I mean, you were there from pretty much day one too, and we talked about it. It was on paper. There were drawings of sets and bringing photographs of dancers. This girl's name is Michelle Riggles. I said she's in straight away.
That's true.
It's been an amazing family. I mean, although we've all known each other, I don't mean just us. All of the Australian players on this show have known each other in one way or another. For over 35 years. We've done the odd gig here or there, but it became a family in Perth, an extraordinarily tight family, and with a tremendous amount of respect and love. The performances have been fantastic. It's what's gone on behind the scenes that's been great for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've rekindled friendships and made some new friendships. Being able to hear Pigs talking about Spectrum. We used to play gigs with Spectrum, Daddy Cool, Chain, every night of the week. We hung together. We were mates, and we hung together, and we drank together.
The International Club.
Yeah, the International Club, and just all over Melbourne, because it was really a Melbourne scene. That Melbourne core was very, very
we
close.
all went to church together quite often.